Hey, welcome to Dr. Dave's laboratory here. I'm Dr. Dave with the Whiz-Bang Science Show, and we're going to do one of my favorite experiments today. It's an experiment I've done a lot throughout the years, and it's called dancing pasta. Now, it's a fun one because it involves three of the states of matter. So it involves liquids and gases and solids. And we actually mix a couple of them together and produce the third one. So to do this, I think you might already have the directions with you, but if you don't have the directions, look down in the description down below and you'll be able to print off the directions for yourself. So this is an easy thing to do. It takes just a few things you probably have sitting around the house. So first off, you need a beaker. Now this is one of my nicer beakers. It's a 2-liter bottle that I cut the top off. And you can do that, or you can use a tall glass, a peanut butter jar. Be sure you eat the peanut butter first. Anything that you have around the house that you can see through and see the reaction. So you're next going to need vinegar, some baking soda. Those are two of my most favorite chemicals in the kitchen. You're going to need some pasta, and I love to use the alphabet pasta. It's just right for this. And you're going to need some water. So to start off with our experiment, we take our beaker and we add about 3 inches of water. So I'm just going to get some water out of my nice carboy here. That's what we call water containers in the lab. And this is just room temperature water. When you're doing the experiment at home, if you want to try with different temperatures of water, it would be a cool thing to do. So we got our water in here, and now we're going to add a handful of pasta. So I just pour some pasta out in my hand and drop it in. So now we need to make an observation. What happened when we put the pasta in the water? Become a scientist now and observe. It sunk. It went to the bottom of the container, the bottom of my beaker. Why did it do that? Well, some people would say, well, it's heavier than the water. Well, they're not quite right. It's more dense than the water. So density is weight per volume. So the same volume of water compared to the same volume of pasta, the pasta is going to be heavier and it's going to sink. It's not going to float. So now we need to add some of our chemicals. So the first one we're going to add is baking soda. So we're going to add about a tablespoon or so of baking soda. Whoa, splashing around. And baking soda is a base. And when we mix bases with acids, we get a chemical reaction. Well, we happen to have an acid right here, vinegar. Now vinegar, it has a distinct odor, and acids generally all have a distinct odor to them. And if you waft a little bit of that over, that's what us scientists like to do. We don't like to stick our noses in something because we don't know. Sometimes it may be kind of dangerous. We waft it over, you can smell that vinegar taste. It kind of smells like fair French fries. So we're going to mix up our baking soda in there, dissolve that. So that's a solid we put in there. Now we're going to add a liquid and watch what happens. Be kind of careful when you do this, because if you add too much, you're going to make a bunch of bubbles and it might come out of your container. Whoa. So we get a chemical reaction. The vinegar and the baking soda, when they come together, they produce a gas. That gas is carbon dioxide. The same gas, we breathe in oxygen, we breathe out some carbon dioxide. Well, again, make another observation. What happens to those pasta? Well, they float. And the reason they're floating is we got all these bubbles are forming. The bubbles are just constantly forming, little bubbles of carbon dioxide. Those bubbles attach to the pasta. And when they do, they make the bubble and pasta combination becomes less dense than the water. And it floats. Kind of like if you've ever been in the swimming pool with your floaties on. The floaties keep your arms up and keep your head above the water. pretty nice and effective. So these are floating up to the top. And when they get up to the top, the bubbles pop. Not like your nice floaty that stays on, but these bubbles pop. And when they do, the water or the pasta becomes a little more dense, and it sinks down to the bottom until it gets more bubbles on it. Sometimes they only go down a little ways until they get some bubbles on them and they come back up to the top. But they go up and down, up and down. It's a neat, fun thing to watch, and you get to learn about buoyancy, how things float. You get to learn about the states of matter, solids, liquids, and gases. You get to learn about acids and bases and chemical reactions. What's a lot of fun with this is you can use this as your centerpiece. This will go on for quite a while, maybe your whole dinner. And if you want to have even more fun, take a drop of food coloring and drop it in there and just watch it. Don't stir it up, but just let it be stirred up by the action of the pasta going up and down. And that's really neat. It's neat to see that, to see how long it takes before that color is all throughout your beaker. So be sure to do this at home. When you do it, try some different things. Try different temperatures of water. Maybe put the vinegar in the freezer. See how cold you can get it. Maybe put ice cubes in there. Maybe try different things instead of pasta. Try a macaroni. Try whatever type of pasta you have. One thing I know that also is cool is raisins. Put some raisins in there. I know when I'm at a restaurant, I'll take raisins, and if I have some fizzy water, I'll drop them in the fizzy water. And you can watch them go up and down in there. It's a fun thing to do. Kind of surprises people, especially if you're at a really nice place. So be sure to do this at home and have a great day.